Here he is, the history maker. No longer can I use that stat anymore about 35-year-old fellas in your weight division not being able to do the business in title
Well,
fights.
mate, I got sick of people talking about it, so I said, you know what? I'm coming back to just you know, stop everyone talking about it.
It's done.
That's the only reason why I come back.
Is it? Yeah, but let's be dead honest about this.
Yeah.
To be able to do it, because it is a real thing. It's a, you know, people slow down, as we all know. But for you to be able to do it off the back of 2 devastating losses, to be able to get yourself to the situation where you can put in a performance like you put in against Diego, it's pretty remarkable, man. That must have taken an incredible amount of work and mental fortitude as well in that 12-month period to be able to deliver.
Exactly, and that's what it is. Like a lot of people are, oh, you're broken, like it's a lucky type of thing. It's like, no, it's like I guess you got to be different to get yourself through it mentally and physically. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the same guy I was 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean? Because I would be lying if I said that. But it doesn't mean I'm not good enough. It doesn't mean I can put myself in a position to still beat these guys. And that's what happened.
How deep did you have to go in that camp?
Oh, mate, like it was a big camp. It was a really big camp. I started
toughest one you think you've done?
Toughest one because it was so long. Like, and I really committed. You know, I was very disciplined through the whole thing. I needed to bring that weight down lower because I had such a big break.
Yeah.
I was, you know, I didn't want to get into camp heavy, feel sluggish most of the camp, and then start feeling sharp the last 2 weeks, which I felt like I could get away with, you know, if I was training all year round, fighting regularly. You know what I mean? You're going into camp with a good base, already moving, doing a lot of sparring, you know, all that stuff, which I wasn't. Like, you know, I had a decent break. Even though I was still training, it was nowhere near the level that I usually am. So I wanted to make sure I got into that last, like, 8 weeks of camp lighter and moving well. And that's exactly what we did. And it was a long camp, but I'll be honest, the last few weeks, I was like, I don't know if I won't swear.
Do what you did.
I was like, I am over this, man. Like, I was over it. Like, it was getting really hard. My body was all right. Like, yeah, you're going to feel it, but I mean, your body always feels it. But it was just a lot, you know, because we had no, like, not even a cheat meal, no alcohol for the 16 weeks, and just really disciplined the whole way through. So it was a real commitment. But yeah, that's what it takes. And like I said, it isn't just doing that and that being enough for me to break that curse. There's so much more on top of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to be, like, not only be able to get through that, you still need to be the guy with the right fight IQ, you know, right game plans, you know, the right preparation. Like, there's so much more that goes into it. All the things need to align, especially after such a big break, especially after 2 knockout losses.
I wanted to talk to you about the fight IQ element of that fight, because in my opinion, listen, you've had some sensational performances in your career, but for me that one just kind of showed your fight IQ, because I'm sure, listen, I know you're a wonderful fighter, well-rounded, but there's also an element inside you where you want to have it with someone, you know what I mean? And it was the discipline, that's the word I'm looking for, the discipline that you were showing within the fight to stick to the game plan and put on a clinic, really, for a large percentage of that fight.
Yeah, man, yeah, for sure. And as you said, towards the end, he's like, let's do this. I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, as if I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. Obviously, he's a very powerful puncher. You know what I mean? He's a dangerous guy, and like obviously I knew I was winning, and I always knew his like only chance of beating me was to knock me out. Like, so, and that's no knock on him. I think that with everybody. Anyone that I step foot in, I think they can only beat me by finishing me. The only person that I know I will lose rounds to are guys like you, like Makhachevs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Max Holloway, like especially early in my career, I was like, all right, he's fit enough, smart enough, tough enough to make me work through the whole fight, whole 25 minutes. You know, there's only a couple of fighters maybe that can do that. But I know everyone else, they've got a puncher's chance, so I'm going to give him that respect. And with him, the fact that he's got an incredible chin and he backs himself, I don't know if I know a fighter, like I always talk about someone who's willing to take one, to give one. But a lot of the times in that case, a lot of the fighters that do that are usually still, maybe trying to at least slip the punch as they're firing, or there's a little bit of defense involved while they're trying to catch you coming in. I'm just worrying about where your head is and how I can clock it as soon as you come in. I don't care I don't know if that's how he's thinking, but that's how he's doing it. He is so locked in on the target and swinging that he does not care what's coming, which was really weird for me, because I'll be halfway through throwing an overhand right and him thinking, oh, his head's down here for an uppercut, knowing that this overhand right's coming and not even caring about that, just throwing an uppercut. Credit to him to even land it, but for me to just be like, I'm at least trying, and if I throw something, I'm trying to slip it and fire at the same time, or something like that, which when you are thinking like that, you might be that little bit too late. But if you literally don't care about any of that and all you're worrying about is something, as soon as it gets to this spot I'm hitting, I don't care about anything else, that time is a little bit quicker, if that makes sense. You're a lot more free in your offense.
Got you.
And I noticed
enjoyable.
Not enjoyable, but I wouldn't say enjoyable. It was enjoyable in the fact at least I was able to land shots and win that way, but not enjoyable because it makes it hard. Even luckily I was able to use the fight IQ, run him into jabs, and he would, I could at least time things better as I was moving and turning to run him into things. But it's still, when I wanted to sit and fire without that extra strategy involved, I was like in for, you better be careful, you know what I mean? Which we knew going in.
What have you learned about yourself during this process? Because from a fan point of view, you were always the guy that answered the phone, taking those crazy risks, last minute stepping up and all that. What have you learned during this process of how you can now navigate the next few years of your career?
It's a good question. It is a really good question, because I guess I do want to be more strategic, but then I'm just like, I'll fight anyway. So you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. So I'm literally, there's probably guys that I prefer to fight, not only stylistically, but guys that I think deserve it, and for many reasons why I want to fight a certain, someone. But the UFC don't want someone else, even though I'm like, what, really, already? Oh, okay, yeah, sweet, whatever. I'll do whatever. So that's just how I am. So I do want to be more strategic about, if I'm gonna, if I'm only gonna have a few more, or however many more it is, let's make sure it's the right fights. Because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's, there's a lot of hype around this guy. Yeah, there's a lot of hype. All right, say, who's a good example? Oh yeah, so you got Aaron Pico fighting. Yes. Pico, right?
Yeah.
So the winner of that's probably gonna get a shot, right? It looks like. Pico, right now, if he wins, there's a bit of hype. But say he does win, he gets a fight, I beat him, and then he loses and loses again after that. There's hype right now, but I mean, in a year's time, people are like, why did he fight this guy? What, you know what I mean? Like, it could easily happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Where you got other guys who are absolute legends of the sport, or already you see the resume and you can see he was number one contender, why he was number one contender. They make more sense, and it'll even make a lot more sense still in 10 years' time.
So with that in mind then, are you open to 155 again?
Oh, of course I am. I'll fight welterweight event, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Because when I'm thinking legendary fights, there's options as well at 155.
Of course, yeah, definitely, 100%. Like, you know what I'm like as well. I'm the featherweight champ now. It's a responsibility.
Yeah,
and I treat it like that. And I've always prided myself by being that guy. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do what I'm meant to do there. Yeah, that's something that again, that was one thing that I noticed, and I talked about a lot after I lost the belt, and being so active and all that, I felt like it was my responsibility, not only as champion, but I mean, for me, financially successful. If I want to, I don't know how much longer I got, I want to make it count. I'm going to capitalize. So you got them pressures, but you got the pressure of being the champ, of fighting the right fighters and making sure, make sure you're doing it properly and how it should be. And when I say pressure, it's not like, oh, I hate it, no, they're forcing me into it. No, that's just what
yes,
that's just how it's meant to be. And Again, yeah, you're right. It's like, yeah, it means I got to work. I got to, maybe fight injured sometimes. Maybe fight more underprepared. There will be adversities through that, but I mean, it's still a privilege for me to be in that position. Champion, you know what I mean? Still, the love and support I get because I'm that guy as well.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can get people's respect.
So do you have a date in mind of when you want to be back out?
Yeah, later in the year. So I wanted to be straight back in, but then there wasn't anyone that made sense. For one, like so, the UFC couldn't really make that work anyway. And then I've got I've got a little girl due in September.
Another one, mate.
Another one, yes. So number 4.
Just keep making little girls.
Yeah, exactly. So
real men make little girls.
There
you go.
You know what I mean? I ain't gonna, we'll leave it at that. No, but so I've just got to see how it works. There's a couple of things that we had to look after, but I mean, has to fall after the baby's born. Anyway, the UFC schedule, they wanted it later anyway, well, so it works out. So at least it's not my doing, you know what I mean? Because if they needed me, I'd probably be there, you know what I mean? Like, so that's, you know what I'm like.
Just to finish off, I want to talk to you about Australian MMA, because it's taking over, man. Obviously, I think for years, yourself, Israel and others have been inspiring a new generation coming through. What Jack has now managed to do has been truly sensational. It feels like there's a real hotbed of talent that is being able to deliver at the very highest level now.
Yeah, man. Always has the last.
When I say Australia, I mean
right?
Australasian.
Yes, exactly.
Kiwis as well, yeah.
It always has has been for the last five years. But it just shows you as well, how could I say?
Iron sharpening iron, inspiration.
Well, yeah, no. So at the top level, you know what I mean? You were fighting elite fighters. So any one of us could have been champion at that time, but I mean, it's not that easy. And then you're going to get someone that has a chance, he's unsuccessful, Kai, and now gets another chance.
Yeah.
So, so you get what I mean? It just shows that we've always been there, but not only now you've got all these younger generation starting to come through. So again, the last 5 years we've had so many great fighters, and that's just going to continue to roll on. But I'm just saying that at the highest level, even when you do have such a hotbed of talent, it ain't easy to get to the top, it ain't easy to get to the title. But we are lucky enough to have 2 champions from Australia, and now maybe 3 from Australasia or from our part of the world, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. Listen, I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. Congratulations on the new child on the way, which is
thank you.
That's a lot of weddings, mate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And supposedly, does the father has to pay for them usually?
Traditionally, but it's all modern now.
I'm a bit of a traditional guy, you know what I mean? So
you're gonna have to get some more fights booked, then, mate.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's the only reason why I'm fighting. Got to pay for these weddings. In a million years, by the way. They ain't happening for a very long time.